All right, welcome to our guide on the TOEFL iBT. Now, if you think this is all about memorizing endless vocabulary lists, think again. Today, we're going to crack the code of this test. And how are we doing that? By looking at it from the inside out, using the official guide to see what it really wants from you. You know, it's so easy to just jump straight into practice questions. But honestly, the real secret? It's starting at the end. Yeah, you heard me. Let's take a look at the score report, the thing you get at the very end, and work our way backward. It's the best way to figure out what this test is actually looking for. Okay, first things first, we need to totally reframe how we think about this test. A lot of people see it as, just another English test, but it is so much more than that. The TOEFL is basically designed to be a full-blown simulation of what it's like to be a university student. So here's that score report we were talking about. It breaks everything down into 4 big skills, right? Reading, listening, speaking, and writing. Each one is scored out of 30, adding up to that magic number, 120. But, and this is a big but, here's the secret sauce. These are not just 4 separate isolated tests. Not at all. When you really boil it down, every single question on this test is trying to answer one fundamental thing. Are you ready for university in English? Seriously. Can you keep up with a lecture? Can you actually understand your textbook? Can you jump into a class discussion? And can you write a decent paper? That is the real test. All right, get ready for the big aha moment. This is the key that pretty much unlocks the entire test. Once you get this one idea, the logic behind even the weirdest, most complicated questions just clicks. It's all about something called integrated skills. And don't just take my word for it. Look at this. This is straight from the official TOEFL guide. See those keywords? Synthesize, combine? The test doesn't really care if you can just read or just listen. What it wants to know is, can you connect the dots? Can you take ideas from different places and put them together? Like you have to do in a real university seminar. And this is a perfect example of how that works. A ton of the tasks, especially in speaking and writing, follow this exact pattern. First, you read something. Then, you listen to a professor talk about the same thing. Maybe they add more info, or maybe they completely disagree with the reading. And what's your job? Yep, you guessed it. Connect the dots. And this is so important because it's not just some random, clever way to design a test. It is a direct simulation of college life. This is the academic loop, right? You get your assigned reading, you go to the lecture, and then your professor expects you to talk about it or write an essay connecting all those ideas. The test is literally just mirroring what you'll be doing every single day. Okay, so getting that integrated skills thing down, that's step 1. Huge step. Step 2 is learning the specific rules of the game. So let's zoom in on a classic question from the reading section to see exactly how this whole academic simulation idea plays out in a real question. Let's dive into this one, the sentence simplification question. The name pretty much says it all. You're asked to pick a sentence that means the same thing as a highlighted sentence in the passage. But here's the trick. This isn't just about knowing vocabulary. It's about being able to spot the main, essential idea. Now, this is a great example. Look at the original sentence. It's kind of long and complex, right? It lists a bunch of different responsibilities a master had, but the correct answer, it just boils it all down to the main point. The master's job went way beyond just teaching the trade. See how that works? The wrong answers are tricky. They'll either twist the meaning slightly or forget a really important piece of the puzzle. Okay, so we've covered the why the test is structured this way, to simulate university life. And we've covered the what these integrated tasks actually look like. So let's wrap up with the how. And for that, we're going straight to the source, preparation tips directly from ETS, the people who make the test. Seriously, this checklist is pure gold. And you can see the patterns, right? For reading and listening, the advice is all about grabbing the main ideas. Don't get bogged down in every little detail. For speaking, they say to plan with keywords, not a whole script that you're just going to read out loud. And the big one for the entire test, focus. Just handle the question in front of you. Don't let your mind wander and get overwhelmed. So let's pull all these threads together. Getting ready for the TOEFL, it's really not about cramming vocab words until your head spins. It's about changing your whole mindset, your whole approach to how you prepare. Think about it this way. If you see the TOEFL as just this giant, scary wall you have to climb over, you're going to study with a lot of anxiety. But what if you saw it as a milestone instead, as a chance to actually build and show off the skills you're really going to need in university? All of a sudden, your preparation has a purpose. And trust me, it becomes way more effective. So, if there's one thing you take away from all this, Let it be this. Stop thinking about just passing the test. Instead, shift your focus to actively building your academic skills. Start practicing how to summarize articles, how to outline lectures, how to connect different ideas, because honestly, those are the skills that aren't just going to get you a good score. They're the skills that are going to help you succeed long after test day is over, when you're sitting in that university classroom.